What's up, world? This is Buie. Welcome to the official short-term rental property blueprint. So I'm going to teach you how to start your own luxury rental brand. So when you're going to apply for an apartment, there's two ways you can apply for it. One is corporate leasing and one is personal leasing. When you're applying for the apartment using a corporate lease, first thing you got to do is you got to call them up or go on their website and see if they will allow you to apply for an apartment using a corporate lease. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're applying for the apartment in your business name versus your personal name, right? So therefore, you got to have certain things in place in order to go get that apartment. Some examples, of course, you got to have a business EIN because they're going to use that as your social. Of course, you got to be able to show proof of income. Of course, your business got to have a website. They might require your taxes. They're going to ask for all different types of things that pertain to the business to make sure that the business can sustain the rent or the mortgage for this apartment or home. Next thing, if you're going to apply for your personal, let's say if you're just starting off, you don't have all these things together within the business. You can use your personal to apply for an apartment. It's going to the same things are going to apply. Is your social? You got to have a social. Is your credit score right? Right, all three bureaus. Do you have any late payments? Have you had an apartment before or a house to where you have derogatories on there? Right, they're going to ask for possibly a first and last. Of course, you got to have your application fee. Right, these are two different types of structures to where you can go and apply for an apartment or a home right off the bat. But I recommend you going corporate leasing because, for one, if something happens in that apartment, God forbid, it's under a business. It's easier to fix business credit versus personal credit. The moment you got something on your personal credit, it automatically shoots your personal credit score down, and then you got to work to get it. You got to get some things erased. You may have to dispute some things. That process could take a long time, and it eventually slow you down of the things that you're trying to accomplish, especially within a season. Because a lot of times, apartments and short-term rentals, it goes up and it goes down. So you may want to have an apartment in Atlanta right now to where it's hot, but then when it's to get cold, you may want to go to Miami, right? So you got to be able to move in and out of these different apartment complexes and different units. But doing that with personal credit, if something happens and they hit your personal credit, it's going to take you a long time to do that. So I recommend you getting your business together so therefore you can go and apply for a corporate lease. And of course, I'm going to drop some links of some different apartment complexes in Atlanta, Georgia, or Philly and Miami, or I might have some different context to where you are in your city. So stay tuned for more information. That was the first chapter of corporate leasing versus personal leasing. So in this next segment, I'm gonna teach y'all how to locate units. So of course, first thing is location. You gotta discover how far you are from the airport, how far you are from sports stadiums, how far you are from where the bars and the restaurants or the aquariums or the statewide parks, right? You wanna kind of find a location to where you can automatically advertise your short-term rental unit near these things. Like for one, because we're in Atlanta, this unit that we're in right now is 10 minutes from the Braves Stadium. So the Braves Stadium is where the baseball team play. So it's constantly all these things going on in that area. There's different bars, there's restaurants, there's other eateries, there's what do you call them? It's stuff like to where you can go and take your kids outside and have fun, right? These are all different things that you want to find and discover in your mind and Google, so therefore you know what type of units you're going for. You may want a one apartment. You may want a 1 bedroom. You may want a 2 bedroom. You may want a 3 bedroom. You may want a house. You may want a basement, right? All these are different things that you can discover and advertise when you're pushing out your short-term rental. So now, how do you locate these things? Of course, the first thing is Google. Once you find out what area you want to be in, Google apartments in this area that has these certain things next to it. Look up different zip codes. Look up different events that are going on in that city for the next year. And then you can put a calendar out about all these different events and all these different advertising marketing tools that you can use to acquire new clients. Now, let's just write it out. You go on Google, you say, okay, I want an apartment near the Brave Stadium. They're going to give you a list of different apartments. Okay, the next thing you're going to look at is how much you're going to call them and find out how much are the rents for these different types of spaces, because you may have a 2-bedroom, but one may be college style to where one bedroom is on this side and the other bedroom on this side, or you may have a unit to where both units are on this side and the living room and the kitchen is on this side. You want to kind of figure out which style of unit that works best for you. Do it have a balcony? If you got clientele to where they may smoke, may want to smoke cigarettes, or they may want to smoke marijuana, it's totally up to you if you allow them to do that, but you got to make sure that your apartment has a balcony to where they can go and step out, because if it don't, and you have a client that smokes, they're going to open a window, or 9 times out of 10 they're going to smoke. It may damage your furniture, it may damage your HVAC system, right? It may damage your bedrooms. You might get smoke marks in the beds, or your tiles or your sheets may get damaged, right? These are small things you want to look at when you're locating the unit. Another thing when it comes to locating the unit is where is the unit placed in the building, right? And in Atlanta, we got multiple different styles. You have apartment complexes to where you go in through a gate, right? And then units is all different around the apartment complex, or you got buildings to where they may be in high rises, right? In the event that you find a building that's in you find an apartment that's in a high rise, you may want to look at one who has a concierge, but make sure that they accept short-term rentals. Because if they don't accept short-term rentals and they find out that you are doing short-term rentals in that building, they're going to kick you out, they're going to break your lease, and then this goes back to corporate leasing versus personal leasing, because it's automatically going to go on the credit as a termination. And then that's a whole other thing that you got to go back and do, right? So if you're in a high rise, you want to look at, is this building short-term rental friendly? If it is, great. If it's not, and you still want to take that chance because you know this building may have a lot of high volume of traffic, that's great. You just gotta be discreet with it. You can't have people coming to your unit saying, hey, I'm here. They go into the concierge and say, I'm here for this short-term rental Airbnb property. That's automatically a red flag, right? So you gotta put in your description of when you're renting this out to your people, you gotta say, listen, when you're there, you never go to the concierge and talk about these things. You never talk to maintenance about certain things. You call me, I'll deal with it. That's the only person that you need to be talking to in this unit, right? You gotta make sure that you vet your clientele, because some clientele may come for vacation to where they get intoxicated and they may forget these things, or you got clientele who's coming for corporate things to where they're in early in the morning, they're back late at night, they're not here to talk to nobody, they're not doing nothing, they just want to come in here and go to sleep, right? You got different people who may want to have parties or different small events in your space, right? You got to be prepared for those things as well, right? So all of these things make you go into how to select the unit, right? Now I'm gonna go back into the apartment complexes, right? You got different units that are on different floors. So do you want a unit that's on the first floor, second floor, third floor, right? To where you got to carry this furniture all the way up there, right? Or you got a unit that's in the front of the complex versus the back of the complex, right? It's all these different tactics and things that you got to think about when you're selecting a unit, because these things determine how many people will book with you because of the location inside the unit. Yeah, they may have somebody who's handicapped. They may be in a wheelchair, or they may be on crutches to where they can't walk up X amount of flights. So you may want a unit that's walking floor level. But at the same time, if you got a lot of nice furniture in there and you're advertising this place within your business, that may be a high chance for your place to get broken into. So you may want a unit that's at the top level versus the bottom level, right? These are just small different things that you want to look into when you're selecting your unit. So I hope that information was very useful for you. I hope you got some tools, tips, and tricks and things to go back and do your own research on. Stay tuned for the next chapter. So in this next chapter, I'm going to teach you about short-term rental insurance. So a lot of people come to me and they ask me the question, well, what if I have units on Airbnb or Vrbo? They provide insurance in the event that something is damaged or something is stolen in your property. But in our field, because we may be on those platforms, but I'm going to teach you how to rent off of those platforms as well. So of course your question is, well, how do you protect your furniture, or how do you protect your TVs, or how do you protect your own self in the event that something happens in your unit. So the first thing is short-term rental insurance. The same way you go to Enterprise and you go get a vehicle and they ask you, do you have insurance? And you say yes or no. And if you say, then they ask you, would you like to buy insurance for that day? They can do that. They'll upcharge you $17, $18 a day for you to have an additional insurance for that unit. It's the same way within properties. You can pay for additional insurance for your property in the event that something gets damaged, right? Second part to that, you can charge a deposit for someone coming to stay in your unit. So in the event that your unit is $150 a day, you can charge them a $500 deposit that they get back in the event that something is damaged inside of your unit. So if there's something damaged, you will deduct that money that it takes you to either do the maintenance or to fix or replace from that money, or if nothing is wrong with it, you just give them their money back, no harm, no foul. So you can look at these different types of things. And there's a lot of different platforms and websites that you can just google.com, short-term rental insurance for properties. It'll come right up and you'll see you can pay for it. And then this is the best part about it. You can upcharge on the insurance. So if it costs you $17 a day, you can charge them $22 a day, $50 a day, $100 a day for insurance, especially when you find out what they're trying to do within your unit. So if you got a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment and they say, hey, I'm looking to have a Valentine's Day party or a 420 party or a St. Patrick's Day party, or I'm looking to have a kickback for my birthday, you can say, all right, yeah, you're going to require an additional type of insurance in the event that something gets damaged. And you can let them know it's an upcharge if they want to do those types of things. And a lot of people will be comfortable with paying that because they want to protect themselves as well as protect you at the end of the day that something happens while they're in your unit, right? But of course, with the first thing that's mandatory is you pay for property insurance for your unit, which a lot of times it's required when you first go get an apartment. They require that you have property insurance and damage insurance for that unit, but that's just in the event that something gets stolen or if something happens like a fire or water damage and things like that. They want to make sure that you have the ability to protect those things. But when it comes to your official short-term rental property that you're using to rent out to other people, yes, you can sell daily insurance to that client. In addition, charge them a cash deposit, so therefore you have something on hand. And then it don't necessarily have to be like hard tender cash, but it could be Apple Pay, it could be Cash App. You can swipe their debit card or credit card and hold it in file in your back-end system, and then you release it after that unit has been booked out, it's been cleaned, there's no damages, and then you keep going. So I hope that was enough information for you guys on the short-term rental insurance. Stay tuned for the next chapter so of course, the first things that you're going to need to buy when you just got your keys to your apartment. What are these things? And of course, I'm going to give you a completed checklist because I'm not going to remember all these things right offhand. But I am going to give you a completed PDF version of all these things. But right offhand, of course, you're going to need at least one camera to go on your front door so you can see how many people is coming into your unit. Because if they say they got 2 people staying and the next thing you look at it, you got 57 people in a 1-bedroom apartment, that's a no-no, right? So front door camera. Second thing you're going to need is furniture. You're going to need either a love seat, right? A couch, a futon, whatever you want your decor to be inside of your living room. TV, living room TV. If it's a 1-bedroom, of course, you're going to need a TV in that bedroom. If you got a 2-bedroom, you're going to need at least 3 TVs total, right? Of course, you're going to need air fresheners. Of course, you want your unit to smell really good when they're coming in there. So air fresheners, towels, extra blankets. Especially if you're catering towards women, you don't want them using your towels and your hand towels to wash their face. I would get makeup wipes and put them in the corner so therefore they can use those things, right? You want to have detergent because you don't want to wait to the end of somebody comes in there and then you got to wash all these sheets. You can ask them, hey, it's not a requirement, but if you think about it, can you just take all the sheets off and just put them right by the washer or dryer, right? Of course, you're going to need extra sheets because women stain sheets, sometimes they may be on their cycle and something has happened, or they may have a kid in there and then they spill something on it and they actually stain the sheets, right? You want to have multiple sheets. Now, the different types of colors that may vary. You may want dark sheets or you may want white sheets depending on your style of preference within your unit. Of course, you're going to need the internet, right? You're going to need a strong internet because you don't want people streaming and logging into your different internet and they can't watch what they want to watch. Now, when it comes to the apps on your TVs, you can have them on there, but you don't have to pay for all of those apps all the time. Let them log in and put their information inside of that unit because of course you're paying for these bills, and unless you want to charge them a higher rate because you got all of these, you got Amazon Prime, you got Apple TV, you got Netflix, right? You got all these different apps, and then they're logged into your profiles and they're buying extra movies and all those things. You don't want those types of things. So you just let them go in there, plug their information in, and log out of that. Of course, you know you're going to need knives and your silverware, your cutlery, right? A lot of people want to come into these units and cook. That's the main reason why they want to be in an apartment or a house versus a hotel, because they may want to come and cook their own food. It may be more economical for them to do that versus going out and eating every night. All right. Of course, you got those things. When it comes and other things, when it comes to your bedrooms, you want to have hangers inside of there because you don't want people just coming in and putting stuff all over your units and trashing them. You want it to look like how you would treat your own apartment or your own house, and that's the type of feel you want them to have. Of course, you want to have a book that shows where your Wi-Fi is, or show where your trash units are, or show where the different exits to your apartment complex. It may be a code to get into the unit to where they may have some people coming over. You may want to have all those things in one ledger. You don't need them calling you in the middle of the night saying, hey, where is this? Or how do we get into there? You want to have one book that have all your, your policies and procedures and your rules and regulations all in one book. Of course, depending on the size of your unit, you may want to get funky with it. You may want to put some different colors on the walls, or you may want to put some art or furniture, different type of furniture. Like in a lot of my units, I got vending machines, right? Because I know at the end of the night, people are going to need a certain amount of things. They may want extra juice. They may want some noodles. They may want some chips. They may need stuff for their headaches. They may need condoms. Depending on what city you in, they may need some weed, right? They may need extra liquor. All these things are different small upsells that you can put inside of your units to make additional money outside of them renting the unit, because guess what? They're still going to go out and buy these things whether you have them or not. So if you have the ability to store them inside of your unit safely to where you can track it, and this goes back to the deposit. If you charge a $500 or $1,000 deposit or $2,000 deposit, they can eat whatever they want inside of that refrigerator, or eat all of those snacks that they want, or buy all the paraphernalia that they need in order to make their trip the best way. You can also have a Bluetooth speaker inside of your unit. They may want to use that, right? If your unit is close to a beltway or a park, you may want to have a bike. We have a unit out by the Chattahoochee to where we offer a canoe and a kayak for an additional upcharge, right? All of these are small things that you can add to your unit to make it pop even more. So I hope that was some great information for you guys. Stay tuned for the next chapter, because I'm getting ready to get more and more in depth, and I'm just warming up. So for real, I might do this again and give y'all even more game that I forgot, but stay tuned for the next chapter. So in this next chapter, I'm going to talk about other platforms to list your short-term rental on, as well as owning your own platform to list your short-term rentals on. So of course, why would I say if I have my own, why would I list on other platforms? For one, it's free advertising. For two, it's advertising marketing. For three, it's a way to convert clients over to your platform because that's where you want them to be eventually, right? So an example would be, you have a unit on Airbnb, right? Your unit is doing very well, but now you're starting to develop clients who has booked with you multiple times, right? So therefore you say, all right, look, you book with me on here because Airbnb is going to take X amount of fees. You may get tired of those fees to where you want to go and jump into your own. So you'll say, look, instead of paying me $150 a day, but then it's additional $80 a day for Airbnb fees, I'm gonna charge you $150 flat a day, but you gotta give me a deposit for this, right? That's one style of how to convert that. And because Airbnb or Vrbo or additional short-term rental platforms give you these types of tools in order to structure your business, which you may not know, that's one way to structure and learn the blueprint to your success with those types of platforms. Because for one, they require different type of photos to be taken before and afters. If you started your own business from the beginning, you may not have known that, and you may have taken enough, damaged units or damaged pillows or damaged trash cans in order to understand, wait, I need to require a certain type of insurance or a certain type of deposit. But with those types of platforms, those things are mandatory required in order for someone to book. And that comes from vetting your clients as well, because if you're getting quality clients from those platforms, then this is the opportunity for you to migrate them to your own platform. Now, the other thing about this is right now, because so many people know about short-term rentals and everybody's putting their short-term rentals on different platforms, the market is becoming saturated. So now you have a unit that's $200 and they got a unit that's $180, and y'all in the same building hypothetically or in the same area, who you think they're going to go with, right? So you got to upsell your unit with the things that are in it, the things that come with it, or you could say, I will give it to you at a cheaper price, but you got to book it on my own platform, right? So take advantage of all the other free platforms that you can put your property on and start to migrate that clientele to your platform, to where you can start adding those fees up and making money off of that. You can start building your business credit because now they're seeing you got this revenue going towards your business versus these other platforms. Now, another thing when it comes to this, at the end of the year, because you're not an employee through Airbnb, they 1099 you when it comes to your taxes as an independent contractor, right? You can, that's great, but what if now you can start advertising your business and become a W-2 employee for your own business versus being a 1099 for someone else's business? It's two different types of tax brackets. You can make more money on a daily basis when it comes to your short-term rental, and at the end of the year, you can file your taxes accordingly with that. So stay tuned for more information, because the next chapter is going to get even more fun. I'm going to drop some real tools, tips, and tricks in order to keep going in this short-term rental business. What's up, world? It's Bernard Buie. We are at one of my units in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Let me show you how it was set up, show you the process. At the end, I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about different ways that you can get into these types of units and how to structure your business for your own short-term rental properties. Come on in with me. So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Of course, when we first got this unit, it was nothing in here, so I'm gonna just show y'all some things that we decorated with the decor. Of course, like I told you guys, the first thing that you gotta do is get you a nice, comfy couch, so therefore when your people come in, they feel as though they're at home. Of course, you gotta have a nice size TV, so therefore if they chilling, they wanna relax. Of course, you gotta have all the apps on there. You don't gotta pay for the apps, but just download them, so therefore they're available for your clients to use. Of course, you know, we put some nice chairs, couple pieces of artwork. If you're catering to women, of course you want to have a ring light, because all women try to get their makeup done, or they're just going to be chilling. They may want to get on social media and brag about where they are or talk to their friends. Those are easy things that you can put inside of a unit, especially in your description and in your photos of showing the property when it comes to a unit. So now I'm gonna take y'all into one of the master bedrooms, to where we got a king size bed. inside of this room. King size bed, 50 to 75 inch TV. I recommend, of course, your Wi-Fi. Just having a little nice blanket, having some units to where they can put their clothes, their socks while they're in here. Of course, your bathroom is one of the main things. Make sure your bathroom is really clean when you have a unit, because of course you're going to have women, you're going to have children, you're going to have adults, you're going to have kids, you're going to have anybody in these units. So make sure that you got plenty of towels. Of course, you got plenty of things to clean your bathroom with. Make sure that your toilet is clean. Make sure that your tub is clean. Make sure that your closet has hangers inside of it, and it's easy, right? I'll take y'all to the other bedroom, to where we have that's more of the guest room. This room right here is more dormitory style, so therefore you can see that the unit is guest style. So this bathroom right here is connected to the outside. You've seen the other bathroom was inside of the room. This bathroom right here is connected to this room right here is connected to this bathroom. So you can go straight from outside, come right in here and come into this door, but it's also connected to more of the second guest bedroom. So as you can see, this is another style nice bed. Of course, you want your beds to be comfy. You want your blankets to be high quality. You want your pillows to be either soft or medium, because a lot of people want to feel like they're staying where they're staying, and it's nice for them enough. So this is a quick 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit that you can automatically follow the blueprint, take the same steps that I took in order to get here. And of course, right, this budget may have been around $5,000 total. So one of the things that you want to look at when you're looking at a unit is how much it's going to cost you to get the unit, and how much it's going to cost you in order to fund the unit. Because like I said, right offhand, when you came in here, you seen 3 TVs, 2 beds, 1 couch, 2 mirrors. You're going to have different accessories that you may want to put inside of the unit. You may want to have all of your pots and pans. You may want to have different cleaning supplies. You may want to have different air fresheners that go inside the unit. All of these are small things that add up. But in order to make your property an A1 luxury property, to where you're getting it rented out for at least half of the month, if not all of the month, these are things that are mandatory inside of the apartment. So stay tuned for the sit down, because that's what's coming next, and that's when I'm going to get more and more in depth in units. But if you want me to come in and show you how to structure your unit, whether you in Atlanta, you're in Philadelphia, you're in Miami, or you're in another part of the world, I'll come in and I'll show you how to set up and structure your unit, and then get your unit ready for rental. Stay tuned for more. So you guys see the apartment. Now we're in the amenities section of selecting a proper apartment. Of course, you want to make sure that you have all the luxurious things that a person would want to do in order to pay top dollar for your apartment. One thing is a fitness room. A lot of people nowadays are really into their health and wellness, so you want them to be able to come and enjoy the amenities, which may require them to stay more because they love your amenities. So this is a fitness room. I'll show you guys around and some of the things that are in this fitness room, and then straight from here we'll go directly to the pool and the grill area. This is the fitness area of it. Treadmills, free weights, calisthenics, sauna rooms. All these are small things that a client would want to see when they're choosing the apartment in order to either stay with you for a long time or a short period of time. But nevertheless, these are some of the things that you can upsell when you're selling your short-term rental property. Walked out the fitness room. Now this is what the pool looks like. Of course, you want to make sure that your pool is seasonal, because a lot of times people may not want to get in the pool. They just may want to sit in the cabanas, or they may want to sit by the fireplaces that's outside of the pool, or they may just want to get away and just be able to walk and talk and free their minds when they're in your city or they're in your state, because they're not necessarily from here, right? So these are the things that you want to always have in place when you're selecting the type of property that you're renting for your short-term rental business. It's going to determine determine if you can charge $100 a day versus $200 a day, or $400 to $500 a day. All of these things go inside of it. So it's not always about your unit, it's about the aesthetics and the surroundings of your unit. So stay tuned for the next chapter, because I'm giving you more and more tools, tips, and tricks in order for you to chase your dreams this year. So in this next chapter, we're going to talk about how to list your short-term rental, right? So when you're being descriptive, be very, very descriptive. And there's a lot of AI tools that you can use if you're not the most articulate in how to in trying to describe your unit. But an example would be not just saying it's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a 2-bed luxurious apartment, right? Depending on the area, you may say, yeah, you're in Atlanta. No, we're in the Upper West Side new development area of Atlanta. Or you may say, okay, I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I have a 2-bedroom studio or college style unit. My bathroom, my tub, it's not just a tub. It may be a garden tub. It may be a jacuzzi. It may be an infinity shower, right? All of these are small things. You don't have just a bed. You have a luxurious king-size memory foam bed, right? I have pillows, I have pillowcases, I have sheets. Okay, my thread count is 2,000 thread count sheets, right? I have Wi-Fi. Okay, describe the type of Wi-Fi that you have. Okay, what type of cups do you have? Do you have shot glasses? What type of cooking materials do you have? Do you have 100% stainless steel pots and pans? Or what type of glasses do you have, right? Like, be very descriptive in your type of unit that you have, because these are the things that very, very smart or particular people have, that they'll either select your unit because of these things or go with someone else's unit because of these things, right? So you got to be mindful and be creative when you're talking about your unit. When you're telling them that you're in an apartment complex like this, say that it's an open concept complex, right? When you're talking about your pool and your amenities, let them know the hours that it's available or it's not available. What's the capacity of how many people are allowed to stay in your unit or just come and visit, because that is going to determine if somebody comes and book your apartment for a party or they'll just book it to stay, right? So all of these are small things on how to list your apartment and home. Stay tuned for the next chapter, because here we go. So in this next chapter, we're going to talk about message templates, right? A lot of times we have multiple phones, or we have one phone, but we deal with multiple businesses inside of our phones, right? So when you have a client who's trying to inquire about one of your short-term rentals in this city or the next city, right? It's some things that you automatically want to ask them because they're mandatory questions. How many people were staying? How many bedrooms do you need? How long are you staying? What is your budget? Is there anything particular that you're trying to do as far as a special occasion, right? All of these questions can automatically be typed out and used in the AI platform to automatically get these answers from a client, which will either save you time or vet your clients to determine if they're the right candidate in order to book with you. So these are small things that you want to know. Now, once you figure out those answers, you'll know if they qualify to even rent with you or not. Or you may want to upsell them to a bigger unit, or downsell them to a smaller unit based on their budget, right? Because if you got somebody, hey, I'm interested in your 2-bedroom apartment. Well, how many people do you have? Oh yeah, I may have about 6 people. Okay, so you're expecting 2 people to sleep on my couch if you got 2 bedrooms. No, I don't want people sleeping on my couch. So therefore, let me upgrade you from that 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom apartment, so therefore everybody is comfortable, and the budget may increase, or you may give it to them at the same price based off of who they are. Because if you want them to stay for a longer period of time, I'd rather give you my unit at $200 a day if you're going to stay for a week, versus charging you $300 a day and you're only going to stay for 2 days, right? So this goes into pricing, which is one of the following chapters to come that I'm gonna really go into, and I'm gonna give you a lot of the game on how I upsell and downsell based off of those things. But you want to ask those types of questions based on the templates. Now, once you have these templates, save them in your phone, because guess what? Now you can pass on that quick job to somebody else, like an intern or a little cousin or a worker who wants to get into this type of business. Now you can start to develop and teach them how to answer inquiries and lock a client in for future bookings to come. So stay tuned for the next chapter. Here we go. So in this next chapter, I'm going to talk to you about how to manage multiple units, right? Here's a quick example, how to manage 2 phones. Because if you got 2 phones, that means you got to answer 2 different calls, possibly at the same time or 2 different times. So now let's say, for instance, you got 1 unit here in this apartment complex and you have another unit 10 minutes away in another apartment complex, right? How do you manage these units? For one, you got to have the proper system in place to answer the inquiries, which we just talked about. Now, after you got the inquiries, it's scheduling those clients to go in, make sure that the unit is right for them, and then cleaning it and get it turned over to the next client, which means that you got to have either a set time for you to go in to clean a unit, or have a cleaner who goes in there and cleans the unit, make sure they take before and after pictures, and make sure that the unit is 100% ready and available for that next client to check in. Because the more business that you have, the more busy it's going to be, and the more mistakes things can happen, right? An example would be somebody's checking into this unit at 2 o'clock, right? But the previous client broke a bed. So now, therefore, you got to have your personal maintenance team to come in and fix that bed in order for that client to come in and check in for the next 2 hours. However, you got another unit that's 10 minutes away and you got to be over there at that time. So therefore, you don't have the time to come over here, right? These are things of team members that you got to have in place, because once you develop the business and you're growing the brand, your goal is to have multiple units. A lot of times it's not even in the same state. Like right now we're in Atlanta, I got a unit in Miami. There's no way I can be in 2 separate states at the same time in order to do the same thing. So guess what I had to do? I had to literally try to clone myself to the best of my ability and give them, my workers, my team, the proper policies and procedures in order to check in a client and check that client out and make sure that everything is spotless, everything is A1 in order for that next booking to come in, right? So these are the types of things that you have to really pay attention for when you're trying to expand your business. And off the rip, I wouldn't expect you to say, okay, I want to start off with 10 units. Yeah, that may sound good, but get 1 in first. Learn that business, learn the scalability of that 1 unit. Maximize that unit to where it's getting booked every weekend, to it's getting booked to not only weekends, it's getting booked to a Thursday and a Wednesday as well as the rest of the weekend. Learn how to get bookings on off days like Mondays and Tuesdays, to where you're working with more business class people versus people who are coming in to have a good time, right? So these are small things in order to help you grow your multi-unit platform, because guess what? The next chapter, I'm going to talk about listing on multi-platforms at one time, right? So stay tuned for that chapter. There's more to come. Bernard Buie. So in this next chapter, I'm going to talk to you about pricing your unit. How do you come up with pricing for your units? The first thing I recommend you doing is doing research in other areas that have units just like you, right? So if you're in an apartment complex, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be another unit inside of that building that has short-term rental property. So if you can do research and find somebody who has a unit similar to yours and see what their pricing is, that's a good starting point. Because if you'll see that, okay, this person has a 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit and they're charging $250 a day, and they have a good amount of bookings, so you know that pricing is good. Or if you see that they only have 1 booking, well, maybe their pricing is too high. So let me start off with something a little lower and then work my way up, right? But let's say, for instance, that perfect unit is $250 a day, but your unit has more amenities than their unit does. You know that you can upcharge your unit based off of, like I was talking about earlier, your thread count, your type of TVs that you have, the type of furniture that you have, right? The more luxurious your apartment is, the more you can sell it for, right? So just think about that. The next thing I want you to think about is, in the event that there's multiple units in your apartment complex to where they have different units in there, you may want to come under
those other units, even though it's more, because you're thinking about volume. If their apartment is 250 a day and yours is more nicer, you can come in at 225 and get them to book it for longer days versus those short amount of days. Right? So these are just small things that you can think about when you're pricing your unit. And don't be afraid to play with it. Sometimes start off super low to build up your clientele and then upcharge it, right? Now here's my secret. Look at a calendar for all different types of events and things that are going on in your city at that time, right? This coming weekend right now is Super Bowl weekend, so everything should go up. So therefore, when your unit was $225 a day, now that unit is $275 a day, because you know somebody's there to watch Super Bowl, or they may be here for All-Star weekend, or they may be here for another basketball game, they may be here for their kids game, right? They may be here for a sporting event, they may be here to go to the aquarium because it's Black History Month, right? There's all different types of ways that you can upsell and downsell your apartment, your short-term rental apartment, in order to make the most money. Or you can say, listen, I know you come in here for 2 days, but if you book it for 3 days, I'll give it to you at half of the price that it was going to cost you to get only 2 days. Now you just made money, because that down day, you probably wasn't going to make money off of that day anyway. So now they got it at a discount rate, but you were able to make more money from that client just by giving them a shorter price and a longer day in order to make that unit pop, right? So these are just quick things that you can upsell and downsell your rental unit in order to make money. So I got a couple more chapters left in this short-term rental property blueprint mastery. This is the opportunity for you to take notes and be a master in this, right? Because the next thing that I'm going to talk to you guys and teach you about is scaling the business beyond the short-term rental properties. Like right now we're sitting in a vehicle, so this next chapter is where I talk to you about leveraging other things that you have in order to make money from it. So stay tuned for more. So in this final chapter, this is the chapter that's most important to me, because as I always talk about being in a short-term rental business, it's always about leveraging the other things that you have access to in order to make money from those things as well, right? So right now we're driving in one of my short-term rental vehicles, and we're getting ready to pull up to our short-term rental property, right? When somebody comes to you and they inquire about your unit and they ask you, hey, do you got a short-term rental property available? You say, yeah. Well, how long are you here for? You know, what's some of the things that you got going on? You get into their business of why they're here and how long they're staying, and then you find other things that they're going to need in order to make their trip the best. So they say, okay, yeah, I'm here for 2 days. Okay, when are you flying in? Are you getting a rental car from the airport? Yeah, I'm getting a rental car. Or I didn't think about that. Well, you know, we also offer rental cars, whether you own it or you know someone who owns the rental car. Now you tag them in, or you tagged your other business in. So we'll keep role playing. They'll say, yeah, you know, I'm going to rent the apartment from you, but I also need a rental car. Okay, so now you can package your vehicle and your apartment with that one booking. So now you went from $200 a day to $450 a day, because they got your car and they got your apartment. Another thing could be picking them up from the airport. Well, how are you getting from the airport? I was gonna catch Lyft. Oh no, we offer a special service to where we can deliver your vehicle that you're renting from us to the airport for hypothetically $50, to where it may have cost them $60 to get from the airport to go get a vehicle, right? That's another thing. Oh, well, what's the occasion that you guys are coming to Atlanta for? Oh, it's a birthday? Oh, it's your girlfriend's birthday? Okay, would you like us to get you some flowers? Would you like us to get you a bottle of champagne? Would you like some balloons? Would you like a photographer or a videographer to be there? These are all things of how you create special moments for someone to spend the same money they're going to spend. You just want them to spend it within your business, because if not, they're going to go out and spend it with somebody else in order to create these types of memories to happen. A lot of people are 420 friendly now, so you may say, hey, okay, you need some 420 flowers in order to make their trip go right as well. a lot of times they're going to spend it with somebody else, right? So these are all small things that you can upsell your one booking to give them multiple bookings all at one time, right? So when you're creating your brand, you're creating your vision of your short-term rental company, start thinking about the additional things that you can make money from that's not going to cost you in order to facilitate and help them get those types of things done. So we're getting ready to pull up to the unit. That was one of the last things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So if you got more information, if you need more information on how to start or how to expand your business, and you want to talk to someone that's been a subject matter expert in this business that has units all throughout the world, who's been in it multiple years, I'm the right guy for you. I'm Bernard Buie. Let's keep going. Let's stay tuned. And let's keep chasing our dreams, because this is what it's about at the end of the day. So I'll see y'all guys inside for some more information. I'm glad y'all have officially completed the short-term rentals property blueprint. I hope you got a lot of tools, tips, and tricks that I was giving out. I hope that you're able to take some of this information to start or expand your business in the short-term rental property space. If you did, I would like you to click and subscribe to my official channel, Bernard Buie, and follow us on social media at Bernard Buie. Of course, the next thing that we're going to teach about is how to become an author within the next 30 days. So if you're interested in how I wrote my book and you want to write your book and chase your dreams and make your own history, comment the word authorship on any of our social media platforms, and then that'll automatically take you into the next thing of how we get into this space. I'm Bernard Buie. Thank you. This is the official short-term rental blueprint mastery.